Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I will demonstrate how to draft, cut and sew an off-shoulder dress with elasticated puff sleeves for a little girl. The dress is for a 6-year-old. Hi, my name is Ayo and welcome to 011 Clothings Tutorials. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you! I'll be working with the following items: tape measure, pens, rulers and curves. Ideally, a pencil should be used to draft a pattern, but for tutorial purpose I'll be using this marker pen, calculator, a pair of fabric scissors, a pair of paper scissors, a matching thread, a matching long zip, 2.5 yards of crepe fabric, pattern paper. I'll be working with the following measurements: shoulder to shoulder 10 inches, shoulder to waistline 11 inches, around waist measurement 23 inches, around chest measurement 24 inches, dress length 36 inches, sleeve length 9 inches, around arm measurement 7 inches. I have here this pattern paper. I will draw starting margins about 1 inch away from the edges of the paper on the left and at the top of the pattern paper. The shoulder to waistline measurement is 11 inches. I will measure and mark 11 inches like this from the upper starting line. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the waistline. To calculate the armhole depth, I will simply divide the around chest measurement by 4. This is 24 inches divided by 4 and this is equal to 6 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 6 inches like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the armhole line. Next, I will divide the shoulder to shoulder measurement by 2. This is 10 inches divided by 2 and this is equal to 5 inches. I will measure and mark 5 inches on the upper starting line like this and also on the armhole line. I will connect the 2 points together with broken lines like this. Next, I will calculate the around chest measurement. 1 inch for each divided by 4. This is 24 plus 1 divided by 4 and this is equal to 6.25 inches. On the armhole line, I will measure and mark 6.25 inches like this. I will locate and mark the middle point on the broken line like this. From the middle point, I will go in by half an inch. I will connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this. I will also connect these 2 lower points with my French curve like this. Next, I will calculate the around waist measurement plus 1 inch for each divided by 4. This is 23 plus 1 divided by 4 and this is equal to 6 inches. On the waistline, I will measure and mark 6 inches like this. I will connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this. This side is the center back or the center front of the pattern. I will use this single pattern to cut the front and the back of the bodies. From the upper starting, I will measure and mark 3 inches at the center back or the center front line. You can also use any value between 2 to 3 inches depending on the age of the child. On the armhole curve, I will measure and mark 2.5 inches like this. I will now connect these 2 points together like this using a slight curve. I will extend the upper starting line at the upper part and also at the lower part. This 1 inch extension is the zip allowance. I will redraw the armhole curve. From this end on the armhole line, on the armhole curve, I will measure and mark 1.5 inches on the off shoulder neckline. I will now connect these 2 points together with a slight curve like this. These areas are no longer part of the pattern. I will now cut out the pattern. This single pattern will be used to cut out the front and the back of the bodies. I will fold the zip allowance like this when cutting out the front pattern. Next, I will cut out the sleeve pattern. I have already drawn certain margins at the top and on the left hand side of the pattern. The sleeve length that I'm working with is 9 inches. I will measure and mark 9 inches from the upper starting line like this. I will include half an inch seam allowance to the hem like this. And I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the hem of the sleeve. To know how wide the sleeve will be, I will simply multiply the around arm measurement by 2.5. The around arm measurement is 7 inches. So I will multiply 7 inches by 2.5 and this is equal to 17.5 inches. I will divide the 17.5 by 2 and this is equal to 8.75 inches. So I will measure and mark 8.75 inches like this at the top and also at the hem of the pattern. I will connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this. Using the bodice pattern as a template, I will draw out the shape of the armhole curve like this. I will draw a 1 inch wide elastic casing at the top of the sleeve pattern like this. I will fold the pattern like this. I will use a tracing wheel to transfer the upper part of the armhole curve to the elastic casing like this. I will draw out the shape. Two pieces of the sleeve pattern will be cut on fold. I will cut out the sleeve pattern. Next, I will trace out the neckline facings from the bodice pattern. It should be 2.5 inches wide. The back neckline facing will be traced out with the zip allowance. The front neckline facing will be traced out without the zip allowance. I will cut out the two facing pieces. This is the back facing with the zip allowance, and this is the front facing without this zip allowance. Now I will cut out the front bodice on the fabric. I have folded in the zip allowance at the center back and I've pinned the pattern in place. The center front will be cut on fold. I have added the necessary seam allowances. I will use this same pattern to cut out the back. I will unfold the zip allowance at the center back and I will pin the pattern in place like this. I will use half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern except for the side seam where I will use 1 inch side seam allowance. I will cut out the back pieces on the fabric. The back pieces will not be cut on fold. I have pinned the sleeve pattern to the fabric. 2 pieces will be cut on fold, so the fabric has been folded into 4 layers. I will cut out the sleeve. These are the facing pieces. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern. The front facing piece will be cut on fold. So these are all the pieces needed to make the bodies of the dress. Now we move on to the gathered skirt. The total skirt length should be 36 inches. So as you can see, it should be 36 inches. The shoulder to waistline is 11 inches. The length of the skirt is the dress length minus the shoulder to waistline measurement, which is 36 inches minus 11 inches, and this is equal to 25 inches. However, the skirt has 2 layers. I will make the length of the lower layer, the lower gathered layer, 8 inches. So the length of the first layer of the skirt will be 25 inches minus 8 inches, and this is equal to 17 inches. So the total length of the first layer of the skirt is 17 inches plus 1 inch for seam, and this is equal to 18 inches. The total length of the second layer is 8 inches plus 1.5 inches for the seam, and this is equal to 9.5 inches. Now we will calculate the fabric width required. For the first layer of skirt, I will multiply the around waist measurement by 2, and this is 23 inches multiplied by 2, and this is equal to 46 inches. The fabric width for the second skirt layer is the 46 inches that was calculated earlier multiplied by 2, and this is equal to 92 inches. In conclusion, for the first skirt layer, the length of fabric will be 18 inches while the width will be 46 inches. For the second skirt layer, the length of fabric will be 95 inches and the width will be 92 inches. So now I have gone ahead to cut out 2 fabric pieces. This piece is 18 inches long and 46 inches wide. While the second piece is 9.5 inches long and 92 inches wide. These are the front and the back bodice pieces. These are the front and the back neckline facing pieces. I have fused interfacing to the wrong sides of the facing pieces and have overlocked the hem of the facing pieces as well. I will now place the facing pieces on the back and the front bodice pieces like this, right side to right side. I will sew the necklines in place using half an inch sewing allowance. I will leave 1 inch opening on the neckline so as to fix the zip later on. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. After stitching, I knot the seam allowances and then I understitch the seam allowance to the necklines of the facing pieces. I left 1 inch openings at the center back on the neckline. These are the sleeve pieces. I will go ahead and sew the elastic casing at the upper part of the sleeve in place like this. So now I have sewn the elastic casing in place. I will measure the upper part of the sleeve before inserting the elastic, and what I have here is 13 inches and a quarter. By the time I'm done inserting the elastic, I want the final length to be 7 inches. I will double the elastic before inserting it into the elastic casing. This will make it more durable. These are the front and the back body spaces, and these are the two sleeve pieces. I have inserted the elastic to the upper part, as you can see. I will now pin the sleeve to the armholes of the front and the back body spaces, right side to right side. Once I'm done pinning, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done. I will measure 1 inch from the hem of the sleeve like this. Note that I've already overlocked the hem of the sleeve. I will sew this tiny elastic 1 inch above the hem. I will double the elastic for durability. I will use zigzag stitches for the sewing. So I'll fix the elastic 1 inch above the hem of the sleeves. I double the tiny elastic and I use zigzag stitches for more durability. I want to create belt loops at the sides of the bodies. I will use the sewing thread to create the loop. I will use like 8 pieces of the thread. So I will fold 8 pieces of the thread like this. I will use a crochet hook to create a chain like this by crocheting it. Once the crochet chain is 3 inches long, I will tie the ends. I will make 2 chains that are both 3 inches long. These are the 2 belt loops which I will fix to the sides of the bodies. First, I will measure and mark on the front piece above the hem at the sides on the right side. I will measure and mark 3/4 inch. I will measure and mark the 1 inch side seam allowance at both sides of the front seam. I will now place the 2 loops like this, 3/4 inch above the hem on the 1 inch side seam allowance. I will sew it in place following the 1 inch line. I have sewn the loop in place, as you can see. Instead of crocheting the loop, I can also make use of this ready-made cord, but I do not have the exact shade that matches this fabric. I will now sew the side seams in place, right side to right side. The around arm measurement is 7 inches, and 7 inches divided by 2 is equal to 3.5 inches. I will measure and mark 3.5 inches at the hem of the sleeve. I will now measure and mark the 1 inch seam allowance at the side seam like this. I will repeat the same thing at this other side as well. I will sew the side seams in place following the guidelines that I have drawn on the fabric. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. These are the belt loops at the sides of the bodies. I have overlocked the raw edges on the wrong sides of the bodies. These are the two skirt pieces. This is the shorter piece, and I've overlocked the upper part of the piece. I did not overlock the lower part of this skirt piece. This is the longer piece. I have overlocked the lower part of the longer piece. The upper part was not overlocked. I will gather the upper part of this longer skirt piece. And for this shorter piece, I will gather the upper part that I have overlocked. This is the longer skirt piece, and I've gathered the upper part, as you can see. I will pin it to the hem of the bodice like this, right side to right side. Once I'm done pinning, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've overlocked the raw edges on the wrong side. This is the second skirt piece, and I've overlocked the upper parts, as you can see, and I've gathered the upper parts. Recall that I've overlocked the lower part of this first skirt layer, and I've also overlocked the upper part of the second skirt layer. I will now overlap the two pieces like this by 1/2 inch. I will distribute the gathers evenly like this. Once I'm done arranging the gathers very well, I will go ahead and sew the two pieces together, overlapping one over the other. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I've also hemmed the lower part of the dress. This is the back of the dress. I have fused interfacing to the zip allowance at the center back of the dress because the fabric is a little bit stretchy. I will now go ahead and fix this zip to the center back of the dress. So now that has been done, as you can see, I have fixed the zip to the center back of the dress. I have here this long strip of fabric that I will use for the belt. It is 3 inches wide and 62 inches long. I will fold the fabric into two, like this, right side to right side. I will sew it in place using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I will leave some opening for me to be able to turn it to the right side after sewing. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've turned it to the right side through this opening. I'll go ahead and close it by stitching it in place. This is the belt. I have closed the opening and I've given it a thorough press with my pressing iron. I will now insert the belt into the loops at the sides of the dress like this. I will knot the belt. So that's it, guys, we are done, and this is the final look of the off-shoulder dress with an elasticated puff sleeves. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, share this video with your friends who are interested in sewing, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. See you in my next tutorial. Bye, and thank you so much for watching.